Because back in India, we just smile at each other and like, yeah, it's
Yeah, just say
the
hi.
just say
Here
hi.
you have to like go with the side kiss cheek. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I started being a little bit friendly, like, guys, please talk in English. We are in an international class and
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
in school
definitely.
environment.
The greetings, the goodbyes, the phrases. And if you do that, they'll be quite impressed. They'll be quite happy. Oh, wow. Yeah, you know that? You know that their eyes will sparkle suddenly. They're like, wow, he knows that thing. He knows that. Even a meme, a French meme, once I knew about it, and my friends were like, oh, you know that? Or you know that? This one, they started showing me on the phone.
That I'm like, oh, guys, come on. Or maybe, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Curry Meets Croissant. It's the podcast where we uncover the real stories of life abroad, career growth, and everything in between. So, this is, I think, episode number 7, if I'm not wrong. Yep. So, today we have a special guest who brings a powerhouse of experience in business strategies, finance, and marketing. But beyond that, he's someone who truly understands that it takes to thrive in a dynamic market and cross culture work environment. We actually met through a common friend again. And from the very first conversation, I knew his insights would be incredibly valuable for anyone looking to navigate their career in an international setting. So, he's a commerce graduate with a solid track record in finance and investment, a proven business strategist, and a leader who worked with high value clients while collaborating with professionals from diverse industries. So, today we will be diving into some real interesting topics: how to adapt to different work cultures, strategies from breaking into competitive industries, and practical solutions for professionals who find themselves in unfamiliar professional landscapes. So, if you are a student or young professional or someone eager to understand how to succeed in a global workspace, this episode is just for you. So let's get started and welcome our guest for today. Hi Pranay, welcome to Curry Meets Croissant, and it's great to have you on this platform. So how have you been?
I've been good. How have you been?
I'm good, I'm good. Thank you so much. So let's start with a little bit backstory. Can you tell us about your journey from where you started your first degree and your job
Mhm.
experiences?
Okay, so my first undergrad degree was in Bachelor's in Business Administration. And in bachelor's, I founded my own finance and investment cell. And I was also volunteering at the same time for Greenpeace and UN volunteers. There was a program, We First Volunteers. I was in that as well. Then I worked for 2 years in an exports manufacturing company. And after that, I applied for master's in France, joined MNO Business School in MIMPG, and then I worked then after like a year, I worked in Bandai Namco as a sales administration assistant. And yeah, I'm looking for the second internship of my gap year.
That's great to hear. And you have always worked across the lines of finance, marketing, and business strategies. So, what got your attention towards this?
So yeah, one thing I forgot to mention was I also worked in as a finance and marketing intern at Sher Khan in my undergraduate. So that's where I think my journey into finance started, first of all. So Sher Khan is a stockbroker, and I was really interested in stocks and equities and mutual funds and everything like that. So I joined Sher Khan as a finance and marketing intern. From then on, whatever I learned from there, that I applied into the finance and investment skill that I opened, which was just educating other students what I learned in my internship and also whatever I've learned by myself.
So, that is how you developed an interest and you started even pursuing this course.
Yeah, yeah. One of the reasons was that as well, and also that the course had a lot of tracks in it. So there were like finance, marketing, strategy, all these tracks. So that was one of the reasons as well why I pursued MIM instead
Mm.
of like a specialized degree.
That's great to hear. I'm excited to hear more about it so that even I can start applying something in
Hmm.
financial backgrounds. So,
Hmm.
you also founded a finance and investment student cell. So, what
Yeah.
inspired you to take on that leadership role?
Again, so there's quite a story behind that. So me and my brother, we actually joined an immune society that was up for an event. So they were hiring more volunteers, and so when we joined it, something had happened that made the event cancel, something regarding lack of funds or something like that.
Mhm.
And so basically, the society was disbanded. And so me and my brother were like, okay, what should we do now? Yeah, it's important that you join a society, you gain that kind of experience in your undergraduate, especially. And so what we did was we came up with an idea that we'll just open up our own cell. But which cell? And that's where the finance internship came in hand. We were like, okay, we already did this internship. Maybe we'll just open a finance and investment cell because we already have that knowledge from our internship. And so we found another guy who was also really interested in this idea. And so the three of us opened up our own finance and investment cell. And from then on, we did a lot of events regarding stocks and equities and how you can invest your pocket money, basically, how meager 500 rupees into continuously investing month on month into all the small cases that we um, gave to our I wouldn't call students, because apart from students, it was an open house, right? It wasn't just for students; anyone can be invited. So you could say we gave to all the participants that you can invest in this stock. We kind of experimented during the event as well, and yeah, that was what our society was all about.
So are you still part of the society, or have you like handed over the baton to someone else?
No, I think before I left, this was so it's not like we have to hand it over. It's more like the so every society had a teacher assigned to it, right? So usually you can hand it over, but when we graduated, it was the COVID era. It was just
Mhm.
the beginning of COVID, I would say, the lockdowns and
Okay.
the entire thing, right?
Mhm.
And so our batch was really busy with figuring out what about our jobs, and because there was a lot of free things going on, right? A lot of students were promised something. Even me and my brother were promised something, but then they froze the entire thing off. So we were really busy with figuring out what to do with that. So the teachers just took it upon themselves to assign the next batch, whoever wants to join the society.
That's great to hear. But yeah, there's more that we have to learn from you. I have to know from you. So moving on with the segments, you have had experience collaborating with people from different
Mhm.
backgrounds. So what were your first impressions when you were stepping into a cross-cultural work environment?
Um, my cross-cultural work environment came with my first internship here in France at Bandana. There were a lot of other interns as well as other employees who were from different backgrounds. So, just for context, Bandai Namco is really it's a Japanese company. Right? It's a Japanese video game company. It's a publisher as well. So, a lot in the it's more in the entertainment industry, right?
That's great to hear. I think we all adapt something or the other from every people that we meet or every different cultural people that we meet. Like, for
Hmm.
example,
Hmm.
we are in France. I think some of the other habits we have picked up from them, like,
Oh
greeting
yeah, definitely.
all the time.
Greeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because back in India, we just smile at each other and, like, yeah, it's
yeah.
just,
Just say hi.
just say
Here
hi.
you have to like go with the side kiss cheek. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so different over here. I think it
It
was.
is. It is quite different. First time it happened, I didn't understand. I just went along with it, in a very awkward manner. But then you get the hang of it. You start to notice who does this, who doesn't, how someone greets, how someone says goodbye. Sometimes people won't say because they're shy or whatever. It's not part of their culture. So it's yeah, really different.
I think even if they speak in French, and also that's the local language. So
Mhm.
somewhat you really have to know it just for you to survive in this whole country and
Yeah,
this whole
definitely.
environment.
The greetings, the goodbyes, the phrases. And if you do that, they'll be quite impressed. They'll be quite happy. Oh, wow. Yeah, you know that? You know that their eyes will sparkle suddenly. They're like, wow, he knows that thing. He knows that. Even a meme, a French meme, once I knew about it, and my friends were like, oh, you know that? Or you know that? This one, they started showing me on the phone. So yeah, they're really filled up with joy if you know the language, because anyone would. Like, imagine if a French person started speaking Hindi, I'd be like, damn, you know that? Wow.
I've also heard from our friend Anirudh. So
Mhm,
when he was sharing his journeys with us in this platform, and then he said that there is a very different environment that you do not like in this European culture. There's no in between breaks which we take while we are working, and then they
mhm,
people they just take like one break, which is the lunch break or something. Like
mhm,
only one break and then they end up working a lot and then they head back home, or maybe they make plans and then they
mhm.
you know go to some bars or breweries to chill with your colleagues and friends. So have you experienced that?
I think again it's depends on company to company because where I used to work, you can take coffee breaks and stuff like that, you know. The only one major break we had was like the lunch break itself from 12 till 2. That was the only break. After that, you can pretty much take coffee breaks and all if you're done with your work, right? Or if you want to have a break, you can take it. So I think it really depends on company to company.
Hmm. Okay. I'm asking because even like I have to someday work with all these companies in France or in
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I think generally they're cool with you taking coffee breaks. I think it's not that you have to keep on working unless you have a lot of work. Then of course you will be just working. You won't take breaks. But yeah, if you're done with your work, or maybe it's just a day where you don't have much work, you can take breaks. I think everyone is chill about that.
Oh, understood. I'll keep that keep a note of that. So,
Mhm.
how did you adapt to working with professionals from different cultural backgrounds? Were there any specific challenges that you had to face?
I think in my experience, like with the other interns who were also from different culturally different backgrounds,
Mhm.
we integrated really well because of how we used to socialize with each other, right? We used to share stuff with each other. Um, we used to go for dinner together to all these different restaurants.
Uh,
Sometimes we would go to a French restaurant, sometimes we would go to a Chinese restaurant, sometimes an Indian restaurant. So we kind of integrated really well because again, all of us were really open, open-minded people who hung out together often. So yeah, that was one thing that made my experience really great um, in trying to integrate with people from different backgrounds.
have you ever experienced a cultural misunderstanding at work, like you mentioned, the fan thing? Apart from that, did you?
Yeah, there was another thing that didn't really happen to me, but to a colleague of mine. Again, he was Indian as well. And what happened was he was new, I think. So a lot of people didn't know him, but when someone is new, people see and people ask around. So someone I think came up to him and they went like namaste like this in front of everyone. So that was really awkward for him. And my friend just went. He was working, right? So when the guy did namaste right beside him, my friend was like, bonjour, and the guy just left. And it was really awkward for my friend colleague. So that was one thing that. And then I think the guy who did the entire namaste thing, he was told that never do it again. Never ever do it again. Like he was kind of like scolded to not do it again. Like you can't do that here. So that was one thing that I heard of. I'd never seen it myself, but yeah, I heard of this thing happening.
God, I think for me, they did not, in my university, there was not so much
Mhm.
misconception, or maybe they did not ever tell me, but they were
Mhm.
asking me, how do you greet like people? I said,
Mhm.
you said namaste. They're like, oh, the yoga thing. I'm like, yeah, it was invented in India.
The yoga thing.
I
Okay.
guess that came from India. Yoga came from India.
Mm,
Yes,
yeah,
it was from India. And
the
then the
yoga
most funny thing was there's this one guy whose name I can't pronounce properly at all. So I was like, I'll go with the English version of it.
thing.
So he's fine with it, so I'm fine with it too. And then I was
Uh,
explaining one incident that happened to me where I stay right now. And then
mhm.
he's like, yeah, well, they are like that, we are like that. I'm like, what? You are just insulting your own culture. Like,
I mean, they accept it. Like they're like, yeah, we are like that. It's fine. We accept
like
it.
we are
We
world
how
famous
we
for
are.
that. Like, wow. I think if it's only you who's saying this, I think
Uh,
that was
a
really
lot of people, I've seen that a lot of people accept, yeah, we are that way. We can't help it. We are that way. They accept it. They kind of accept it in a really sarcastic manner. We are that way. What can we do?
But also they don't like make you very uncomfortable because they crack jokes on that. So you're like,
Oh
okay,
yeah, definitely they crack jokes on themselves as well. So it's completely chill. Hell, even I have cracked jokes on like ourselves as well. So even we crack ourselves like,
yeah,
in between each other as well. We have cracked jokes, right? So
exactly.
they do the same. They do the same when they're talk. Even when they're talking to each other, they do the same. It's really not that different.
I think human tendency is always to, not to make anything uncomfortable as long as
Yeah,
you
yeah.
the person in front of you. But
As long as people have that kind of conscience to not make you comfortable by me cracking a joke on themselves, that's like a sign of to say it's fine. We make jokes like that. It's fine.
so what strategies have helped you to communicate and build relationships effectively across different cultures?
I would say like when I first came, like for the first 3 months, I was really in my work, getting to know my work and everything. But I also didn't know who was doing what, right?
Right.
So, and my work really involved only going up with like sales directors, messaging sales directors or SCM chains, right? So not really a lot of um, how do you say a lot of work with the other interns, right? So I used to get the hang of what they were doing just by like meeting at the cafeteria during lunch or hanging outside of work as well. I used to ask these questions. So what do you do? Like just suddenly ask what do you do? What exactly is your work? Like how is a day in your life like here? So kind of questions like that. So again, the proactive approach of going beyond your way to really ask those questions would be one thing. Being really friendly and open as to other people, so that they have this image in their mind that this person, yeah, I can just talk to him about anything, right? So be that kind of person. It just makes it easier, if you're just asking how they've been doing the entire day, are they tired, are they sleep deprived, make a sarcastic comment like, oh, you look sleep deprived or something like that. So then they explain the entire thing that's happening. They explain, oh, my work is really busy, or maybe they'll say, I've just not been sleeping well. General conversations, that's how you get to know people, right? But you have to be really, really the kind of person who's proactive, going outside of your way to ask those questions again. So yeah.
I think also one more thing that I have heard and I use it as a piece of advice. I think with from you
Hmm.
and from everybody else that you really have to kill the assumptions that you have in your head. That
Yeah.
just don't assume anything. Just go with the flow. Just go speak to the
Hmm.
person.
Hmm.
If it has to click, it will click. So I think
Hmm.
assumption is also something that people have to remove it from their head.
Yeah, because sometimes you can be wrong, and if you say it out loud, it becomes awkward that you assumed such a thing.
Mhm.
So maybe confirm that your assumption is right. It's not really an assumption, but actually a fact. For that, you need to listen more than you speak, right? Like listen, get to know the person first, and then you speak about them, about your assumptions. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really great advice. I think everybody who's listening should take a note of this and
Hmm.
keep it. Any memorable projects where cultural awareness played a key role towards success?
Any memorable project? Yeah, so in my work, there was a project where I had to get so in my work, we have a lot of territories, right? In the entire EU region, we have Italy, we have France, a separate France subsidiary, we have Italy, we have Germany, then we have Iberica, Spain, then we have Greece and Balkans as well. So there's a lot of different territories going around. So one of my tasks was to gather, to make like a calendar kind of thing for all the sales directors so that everyone can understand just a generalized calendar of when the promotions are ongoing, right? So, for example, in Iberica, there's a big thing for manga and anime. It's called the Otaku promotion,
Okay.
basically. So I have to get information on that, on when it happens from the sales director in charge of Iberica region. Then there's also the Luca Festival in Italy, I think. I had to get to know that. So gathering all these different information, you kind of realize. different stuff that's happening around the region, around all these regions. So yeah, that was one thing that I had to make a calendar for everyone, and they can just open up the calendar, be like, oh, so this promotion is running in this region. Then they can make they can maybe contact the region or through us or maybe directly and tell them, oh, if you want some stock exchanges going, if you want to exchange some stock, or maybe you want to buy in stocks together from the main Bandai Namco subsidiary. So all these kind of decisions were made from that calendar. That's the um, major what do you say importance for the calendar was. And yeah, that was one part where I got to know different uh, through the promotions itself, that the different kind of things that are happening, different festivals that are going on in all these regions. And then from India as well, I had to make an Indian market study for the Indian market. And I had to basically list all the promotional opportunities. And what are promotional opportunities for us but festivals, right? So I have to list all the festivals that are going on in India, and according to that, they will do their promotions as well.
You have demonstrated strong leadership skills through community engagement. So, how has that shaped your professional journey?
I would say, like, whenever you can, if you have like for example in my undergrad, apart from all the classes and all, I wanted to be part of society first, but then there was another opportunity going on in Greenpeace, which was volunteering, a lot of volunteer work. So I went for that first, instead of from my first year going for a society. I went for that, worked as a volunteer for Greenpeace for like 2 years or so, and then also in between, like during the COVID era, there was this V4 volunteering opportunity as well. So we had to form teams in that as well. So I worked in that one, and basically I just did it because, again, I knew that there would be some kind of growth in this, right? When you talk to other people, when you manage other people, when you come in together as a team, work together, there's always some kind of learning there is. And I was always told by my teachers and my seniors as well, like, this is the part of your life. Uh, Go do anything that gets you interested, right? So that was one of my motivating factors. Also because I wanted to avoid boredom. I just didn't want to come to the college, to classes, and go back home. I wanted there to be something extra. So yeah, that was one thing that got me interested into all the volunteering work that I did during my undergrad.
I've never been part of any community engagement process. And people hearing us, please make sure that you do all these kind of engagement because it really
Mm,
helps you, I think, in to develop a what do you say, build up your skills and also to get to know people. It's a very good
mhm,
place for socializing and also somewhat networking. I think
mhm.
even I have to start doing it. So thank you for recommending. And yeah, moving ahead. So for students or young professionals who are aspiring to work in cross-cultural teams, what's your biggest piece of advice to them?
Working in cross-cultural teams, whether it be like for a project in your university or in a professional environment, I would say this thing again, that you listen more and you talk less, especially like in the first few, I would say, meetings or maybe get-togethers. You talk less, you ask. If you want to ask questions, you ask, but you get to know the other person more. That way, your assumptions might be cancelled, or it might be changed, or it might be confirmed, right? It's easier for you, especially. And do not be afraid to put yourself out, I would say. Do not be afraid to say, oh, this is me. This is what I do. This is what I specialize in. This is what I can handle. This is what I can't handle. This is where I have zero knowledge. This is where I have knowledge. Doing that, it just makes the work easier, whatever it is you're doing, a project, a professional assignment, whatever it is. Because it's more about putting yourself out into the space so that people could know, okay, this is the kind of person he is, um, he or she is. And yeah, it's more about putting yourself and not assuming things about people.
Mm. So, how do you see the future of global business evolving in terms of cross-cultural collaboration?
I would say companies are opening up, but it is a very slow speed of opening up
Mm.
to hiring people from different backgrounds. Like, for example, my company was a Japanese company, right, in France. So it was already a really multicultural thing, right? So they always applied people from diverse backgrounds. It was one of their policies, but might not be the case for every other company in France. Um, because what I've noticed is that usually companies that deal in international collaborations a lot, right? For example, Bandai Namco Europe also dealt with Japan as well as US. So there was a lot of international collaboration going on. They will definitely hire people from different backgrounds because that is how the company is already built, right? Right. And but might not be the case for every other company, especially companies that only deal in France, right? They would require you to speak French, definitely. That's not even a question. So in that way, the hirings might not be really people from different backgrounds, might just be French as well. A lot of times, a lot of my friends, for my friends, this has happened that they joined a company and it was entirely in French. Like no one even spoke English. Sometimes someone would, and they had to manage somehow, basically.
Yeah, I think that's a very big issue when you don't know
Yep.
the language. But I think
Mhm.
yeah, if you can, then start learning the language a little, little, and then. But yeah, when it comes to hiring, I think that
Mhm.
becomes a big issue. But yeah, you then find alternatives where companies
Mhm.
hire like people who speak in English and also people who speak in French to mix up the environment and then work
Mhm.
in different areas of the company. I think yeah, you
Yeah,
really need to keep looking for it till you find the one.
definitely.
Yeah. So lastly, if you would have to give one piece of advice to your younger self before stepping into the professional world, what would that be?
I would say one piece of advice would be to as soon as you like start your internship or your work in a new company and you don't know anyone, I would say just go ahead and set up meetings just to get to know other people, what kind of work they're doing. I would say meetings more rather than talking to them during lunch breaks or coffee breaks. Meetings are better because that way you are like one on one and you just get to know their work in more detail rather than just talking to them during breaks. Because during breaks there's going to be other people and they might have a point or they might have something to say. But so if you want to get to know their work in more detail, I would say just set up meetings, ask them if they're free, what time. Like usually Fridays are quite busy for people, right? It's the end of the week, so I would say you ask them first when they are free. You set up a meeting, you get one-on-one for half an hour maybe. I think that would be enough to know or get the hang of what their work is around. And that way you really get an idea of what the company is about and what kind of work that people do. It makes your work easier as well. For example, if you need something from someone and you don't know where to go, then that's a problem for you because at times you might need those numbers quickly, right? You have to make informed decisions. But if you already know where I can get those numbers from, who I can reach out to instantly and they'll be free, I think it makes it easier for you. So yeah, definitely do that. Set up one-on-one meetings. I wish I would have set up one-on-one meetings, even with people who I never worked with, just to know them. Just it might even be a form of networking, them getting to know you, you getting to know them. So yeah, definitely do that. Set up meetings.
Yeah, true. I think we were talking the other day, and then you told me that, if you want to get to network inside your company, then just
Hmm.
send emails and then set up meetings like how you mentioned. I think that
Definitely.
not a lot of people they know, and even eventually nobody told me that I can do it in this manner as
Mhm.
well to connect with people.
Mhm.
It shouldn't have always have to be like a coffee break and like elevator pitch
Yep.
introduction or something like that. But you can take out time in between work and then set up like 5-10 minutes meeting, just get to know what the
Mhm.
person do,
Yep.
see the face, and then yeah, you'll be fine. Then like if you are in a trouble or if there is something that you have to reach out to the person, you will immediately go to the person.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think that's a very
Definitely.
good piece of advice that again I'll write it down for myself and also while listening they should too.
Yeah.
So also moving on, we are not letting you go off so easily. So we have
I'm
some
not going anywhere.
so there
I'm
are some
here.
question-based insights and advice questions that you have
Mhm.
to, give your answers from your point of view. So, starting with that, many students and young professionals they struggle with self-confidence when entering competitive industries. So, what's your advice for overcoming that imposter syndrome?
I would say, don't worry, you'll figure things out eventually, but I can understand at the start you'll be like, oh, I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't know where to get this from. You will eventually figure out, of course, during your internship, there'll be a mentor as well teaching you all sorts of things. But yeah, you can have that kind of syndrome, especially when you see other colleagues just getting in their work done, right? And you're like, oh, what am I doing, right? So I would say don't be afraid to reach out for help. Show that you're interested in your work in such a way that the other might think, oh, okay, he needs my help, right? And if they're willing to help you, definitely ask for it. Like definitely, just go ahead. If they say, do not be afraid to ask questions. That's one thing I would say. Everyone is there to help you because you, as an intern, you'll be learning, right? And even as someone who is new to the organization, people will assume that okay, they're getting the hand of things, so they'll be out to help you as well. So I would say definitely don't be afraid to ask questions. Um, do things on your own if you understand them well. Yeah.
Think we anyways ask questions even if we want to know some people. Like when we meet some new people and then we are just, let's just talk about it and just get to know the person a little bit. And then we
Yeah.
ask questions where you're from. I think it also use is much
Yeah.
more workful in a professional environment that you get to know people and also ask
Hmm.
questions that what you are signed for, what is it even
Hmm.
if you don't understand. So yeah,
Yeah.
asking questions shouldn't just go out of style thinking that oh you're just being too pokey or nosy, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
just you're just trying
Definitely.
to know more, that's all.
And it's also completely fine if you ask those questions later in your time because again, there's a lot of information that you get. You
Yeah.
might not remember everything. So take notes, I would say. Take notes about especially anything that the other person is telling about your work. Definitely take notes for that. Right then and there, always have like a pen and paper handy. Just take a random note about something that it might come handy later on, right? And also, what was I saying? Even like in later stages, if you ask a question, frame it in a way like uh, that does not suggest that you don't know it, but maybe you didn't understand it at the time it was conveyed to you,
So,
right? So yeah, that is one other point I would say.
so if you had to suggest one major mindset shift for professionals working in cross-cultural environment, what would that be?
Okay, so I'll say this that don't think that people will I think I've said this before, but I'll still say it again because it is one of the main things that I learned. Don't expect people to coming for you to talk to you always. Be the one to make the initiation because once you do that, people will automatically come to you if you do that. If you're the one at the start who's going around and asking people how they are and making the first move to talk, and then later on people won't be shy to come towards you because you showed your proactive approach, right? That way, people are more open to you. Because think about it, any other person, if you would like to go to them, if there are always someone who is always talking to you, right? There's always someone who's always open to you about things. And of course, you would like to be open about them as well. So you would go to them automatically. So that is one thing I would say. Be proactive in your approach. Be the first one to spark the conversation. Just by saying, how's your day? You look tired, this, that, make general observations about them. Yeah, I would say do that.
Yeah. That's a very well said, I would say. So finally, what's next for you? Like any exciting projects or goals that you're working towards?
Well, I'm in the gap year, so currently I'm just looking for my second internship for my gap year, and then I have to go back. I look forward to going back to the school because it's going to start again in like August. So I have that to look forward to. Yeah.
That's great. And this has been a very insightful conversation, I have to say. And where can our listeners or like, fellow followers can get to follow you and reach out to you?
Well, they can follow me on Instagram. I think you'll leave a link
Yeah, I'll leave it
somewhere.
in the
Yeah.
description.
Yeah.
Okay. And any final thoughts or word of wisdom that you want to spread out before ending this episode?
Words of wisdom. Hmm. Now I have
See,
to think like the thinker. Words of wisdom. Wait, let me Google this. Okay.
anything
Uh,
you want to say, it's like has worked for you always. Maybe you can use that as a word of wisdom thing.
when you enter like any conversation or any group that's talking and you're just entering, uh, enter with a smile and be cheeky. Like be cheeky in the sense that they don't think you are, oh, he's a very closed person, he's a very shy person. Because if you do that, then you're gonna be quiet for the entirety of your what do you say conversation. Okay, just be open from the start. Like, hey, say it in a very loud manner, not in a very rude manner, but in a loud manner that people can actually hear you. That way, you'll be more open. That's one thing that I've noticed in a lot of settings. Well, at times I was a bit out of focus or my mind was somewhere else, and I wouldn't. When I entered, I would be really like in not in the space. So for the entirety of the duration, I was out of space. But if I entered like and went to like smiling at people and be like, "Hi guys" or something like that, so I was really open for that duration. I would say do that. Yeah, but that's one thing I've noticed about myself at least, so that I can put that out at least. Yeah,
So be the person who starts the conversation. And in a
definitely
few,
not necessarily because always people might already be talking about something, right? But show your presence at least. Show your open presence to people. Like, hey, I'm here. What's up?
yeah, I think that's really insightful that some people they think that okay, they won't like recognize me or they'll ignore me, but you can at least try. You can try till you feel at a point that okay, this is not
Yeah,
working.
definitely.
And then you
Yeah,
can change your ways and then try it again. Like
yeah.
don't
Put
stop.
yourself out. Always put yourself out. Be show your presence. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much, Pranay, for your time and for your such wonderful insights. I think it's gonna help me. It's gonna help the other students or fellow young professionals who are looking to work further. I think it's gonna be really helpful for them. And
Mhm.
yeah, thank you so much for your time again.
Thank you for inviting me to this podcast. It's been a great time. Thank you for all the questions you asked. I really wanted to say my points as well. So, yeah, thank you for giving this opportunity.
Okay, and the people who are watching, if you find this episode insightful and if you know that it can help someone that you know around, then do share and yeah, leave a comment if you want us to cover any other insightful topics or something, or you want Pranay back again into the episode, just mention that. And yeah,
Share, like, and subscribe, people. That's the most important part. That's the first point I wanted to put. I just forgot about it. But share, like, and subscribe.
yes, and also don't forget to press the bell icon so that every time I drop another episode, you will get a notification for it. But till the next one comes up, bye bye and have a good day.